Hi, good evening to everyone. Let me just, yeah. So yeah, good evening to everyone. It's been a while since I've been on IG. I know, on IG Live, and also IG. I kind of wanted to take today's live and really talk about some important topics. There is a lot that has been going on lately in Jamaica, of course, all over the world. And the pandemic has brought a lot of new conclusions, resolutions, and a lot of new aspects to life and ways to look at things, and also to understand where you're standing and where Jamaica is standing. Recently, I was watching a live of Jamaica Uncut. He had 876 volunteers, Simone, if I'm not mistaken, and they were talking about a lot of charity organizations in Jamaica and stuff like that. So I was just thinking ahead about like some topics that I got to think about when I was I'm from Israel originally, and as a younger teenager I was a part of a youth movement, an ideological one that was discussing a lot about social topics and stuff like that. So these things are really like, when for a person coming from outside of Jamaica, living here for a few years, I know, we always come with our criticism, but at this time it was just like hearing what other people are thinking and how people are, praising the charity work in Jamaica. It's amazing, but there is so much to say in regards to charity versus justice in Jamaica. I find it really important because it seems to me that a lot of Jamaicans, unfortunately, don't know how much they deserve more than the reality they are currently experiencing in Jamaica. And the pandemic really showed a lot. It showed a lot about what the government really see when they look at their people, and how important Jamaican people are to the government. And all of these things have been much, much, much more clear during the past 2 years that are still in present. We're still having and facing a lot of challenges because of the pandemic, but not just because of that. It's because of a lot of lack choices of the government in Jamaica. I don't think it's bad to put my political opinion. I'm not going to talk about none of the parties because, again, I'm not Jamaican, so I'm really not in no preference of none of them. I just know that even if it was PNP ruling right now, it was the same situation. So overall, none of them really makes a difference. It's just talking about how the government here sees the people and what really needs to be done and what needs to be changed in Jamaica, and maybe the people of Jamaica would be able to change, but let's see. So the reason why, again, I was talking about the current situation in Jamaica is that since the start of the pandemic, a lot of people have been struggling, and Jamaica government haven't provided any assistance, almost no assistance, to small businesses and small people. It's not small people, but, simple people like me and you that, just don't have like a big business, and we don't, we're not able to help ourselves in no other means. And in addition to that, of course, there are a lot of charity organizations that either were like established during the pandemic, or were really like boosting their, activities and trying to help as much as they can. Again, there is 876 volunteers, which have lots of links all over charity organizations in Jamaica. Different charity organizations in Jamaica that are related to different types of societies, or even animal related. There is also individuals like Miss Donna that's doing a lot of good things, but all of these things really made me think about what Jamaica is lacking, because I'm going to reach the why and of course all of these things. And again, I hope that usually I talk a lot, so I hope that you have the patience to listen to me. And I did prepare some stuff ahead, so I hope that it would be a bit more clear, but bear in mind with me, remember, English is not my native language, so just bear in mind with me. Now I'm going to start by saying that in Hebrew, charity is tzedakah and justice is tzedek. So actually there are the two words, charity and justice, use the same type of letters, just and the ending is a bit different, the pronunciation is a bit different, because there is similarity between the two. In the end of the day, justice and charity, both of them are trying to make things better and make an improvement, even if it's something that can be solved at the moment as charity, or long-term solutions like justice. So I'm going to start with just talking about, just kind of like giving you the dictionary definition for both of the terms. So justice, as what I found it on like simple search on the internet, the definition of justice is the use of power as appointed by law, honor, or standard to support fair treatment and due rewards. I mean, pretty simple, Charity is usually defined as an organization whose purpose is to give money, food, or help to those who need it, or to carry out activities such as medical research that will help people in need and not to make a profit. So again, there is a huge difference between charity and justice, and that's what we're really going to talk about today. So first of all, I just wanted to say that, as I said, the time of the pandemic really showed a lot about what the government is willing to do for the people, which is not a lot, unfortunately, and what the people are willing to do for the people, which is a lot. There are lots of charity organizations that came up during the pandemic and a lot of activities that are, helping the people that really need it. And unfortunately in Jamaica, even before the pandemic, there are a lot of people in need. And even the people who won't considered as people in need, even people who do work their 9 to 5 are still struggling because the cost of living in Jamaica is very, very high. And there are no real ways to, assist these type of people, even though they're literally working nonstop and they're trying to help themselves. But everything around them is just so expensive. And I have to touch money, of course, because money is like how we do everything in life. So we cannot just avoid the fact that this is what runs the world. We all want to be wealthy or comfortably living, and there is nothing wrong with that. Especially, to my opinion, there is nothing wrong with building and creating your wealth, especially as a Black nation. So I just wanted to kind of like, and I'm going to read a bit because I really want to use the right terms when I'm talking about these things. So justice is the broadest sense and the principle that people receive what they deserve, right? And in the end of the day, what they deserve, it really depends on what the government thinks that they deserve, because the government has the power to decide what's happening in the country. I know that it's a Democrat country and you can choose your party, but in the end of the day, the party that is ruling is the one that's going to say the last word. And unfortunately, the opposition in Jamaica, especially in the past 2 years, haven't been doing anything like to really oppose the government. So charity is basically the practice that means, a voluntary practice, that means to help the people in need, and it's more of a humanitarian act, okay? There is difference between the two, okay? The justice and the charity and social justice can be considered as two different approaches. So I just want to clarify and explain that, in my opinion, and of course all of this life is my opinion, the fact that the government of Jamaica is choosing not to work in a way that will be create a bit more social justice in Jamaica, it definitely means that they don't believe in social justice or justice at all, or equality. I'm not saying that Jamaica can be perfect, and of course, even where I come from, there is more justice, But still there is lots of room to improvement. So I'm definitely, all I'm saying is, considering the fact that Jamaica is still a young country, the history of Jamaica, of course, and the fact that there are a lot of things that really prevent Jamaica to kind of like be a bit more social justice country. But there is also a lot of things that don't. For example, just like giving you an idea, if you think about it in depth, a bit deeply, is why would Jamaica government will sell off all of the country, all of the, so hello to everyone that's joining. I'm sorry, I'm trying to be focused, and I'm kind of a person that can talk and do these things all the time. Say hi to everybody. All right. So, the government of Jamaica is basically selling off everything that they have. If it's JPS, if it's the highway, if it's beaches, if it's, all of the hotels, most of them owned by foreigners. And there is nothing, even when they sell really hard on the people, they seem to be doing a little empower the people, the set of the business and trade abroad, which is where the money is. Hey, Ella. So basically what I was starting to say is, when the government, to me, again, it's my interpretation. I didn't study none of these things. It's just my thoughts. When the government is choosing to sell off everything that exists in the country that they can actually make profit of, or thinking about the long term of Jamaica and the next generations, it shows that in the long term, there is no real thought about what is going to happen to your kids, my kids, if the people here are struggling today, what is going to happen when JPS right now is not even owned by Jamaica, and they have, I think, 20% of shares, which means that they don't even have a word. Like, even if they go to like board meetings of JPS, they don't even have a word. So when people now are wondering why JPS rates are going up again, I mean, they're nice to tell us that on the media, but I mean, they're raising their prices every month, so it's not a surprise, right? They don't have a word. Like, even if they want to say something, even if they want to do something, which obviously they don't, they can't change nothing, because they already sell off so much of, their percentage, so they don't really have a word. I want to read one second. Yes. It seems that the current government are really hard on the people. They seem to be doing a little empower the people to set the business and trade abroad, which is where the money is. I mean, definitely I agree. Tax is insane, even not just to bring in things to Jamaica, like taxpayer, like from your salary, is insane in Jamaica. Insane. And the fact that you're paying like in your taxes and then you pay again when you go and shop anywhere in Jamaica. But again, that's another way to that's another example of showing how much there is no connection to the reality in Jamaica. Like, how can it be that the minimum wage in Jamaica is between like 50 to 70 US maybe? Because now, of course, the Jamaica, the exchange rate is so high, which is, again, another thing, So how can it be that like a JPS bill can cost like a week of work in Jamaica? I don't know. Or, I mean, how can you even provide to your children? How can you go to supermarket? Stuff like that. Anyway, so the key difference between the two approaches, charity and justice, is that charity really is the individual approach, okay? It depending on, first of all, if you have a person that is willing to take it upon themselves. Doing charity work is not easy. Most of the time you probably would have to start by whatever you have, or, you would have to put the first push by yourself. You would have to be a righteous person also to use those charity money and really give it to charity, all of these things. So it really depends on the individual. When social justice really is much more over like a structural approach, if the government choose to make things better and a bit more equal for everyone, or just equal for everyone, it's an approach. It's something that they're thinking about the long term and not just giving a solution individually that is coming from the people. Charity really refers to helping needy people, as I said, and a charity, of course, social justice. I knew I would say that, by the way. I knew I would say that. Social justice really refers to like eliminating inequality, okay? And when I'm saying that, I really mean the fact that, the reality of Jamaica is that Yeah, I know. Minimum wage in Jamaica is 7,000 per week, and the average electricity bill costs more than that. Yeah, definitely. Exactly. You know, these things are just kind of like doesn't adds up even to people who, like, even when I tell it to my family, people don't really understand how do people survive, you know. So it's very rough. In the end of the day, social justice is really to create some unity in the people and think long term about your country and the benefit of your people. And just think about it, Jamaica, from the moment it was established, the whole idea of how it created, unfortunately, was the way opposite of unity and solidarity. They just were trying to tear apart people from each other, if it's from their homeland, and bringing them to Jamaica, or killing whoever was here. And, you know, creating all of that separation between people, competition, and a lot of negative energy between people, which unfortunately still remain up to today. Because, and I said that again, I know that it's a bit sensitive because I'm white, and there are things that it's kind of like, it would be a bit, maybe it would sound different to people, or they will interpret it different if I say that. But to me, in many ways, slavery still exists in Jamaica, and it's not the way it used to be, like in the 1800s. But mental-wise, they're not giving us no freedom. They're not giving Black people no freedom. They're not trying to create power and empower Black people in Jamaica, even the opposite. To me, there is a really, I don't know if you ever heard about it, okay? But there is, the main difference to me between charity and justice is the fact that charity is some, you know what, let me just give you some comparison, okay? Some comparison between the two. So for example, charity strives to help a person. This is an individual approach. Social justice looks at the underlying social structure and produce inequality and tries to correct the situation. So again, all I'm saying here is not to try to make people to stop doing charity work. Obviously, that's definitely not what I'm aiming for. I just want to emphasize that the importance of Jamaicans to choose and try to create a change in Jamaica, and the way, like, wherever Jamaica is going to in the next 10, 20, 50 years, it is so important. And we can't just sit back and relax and look at the things and just complain or write on social media that, I mean, even though I'm on social media right now, I'm doing this, but we can't just sit back and relax, because if we are shutting our mouths right now and they're saying that we don't do nothing, they're going to continue to do everything worse and worse and worse. And unfortunately, I don't see no one from the government that has any other approach that's trying to move things to a different way. And correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I'm wrong, you know, I hope I'm wrong. Another difference, charity is helping a person who is considered poor, okay? Social justice examines the condition that makes individual poor and try to correct the problem of poverty. I mean, we all know that poverty creates crime and a lot of mental problems as well. You know, Jamaicans are going through so much, a lot of family separations where, you know, either one of your parents have to go to abroad to basically send money to the family and all of those things. There is such a huge effect on poverty. Is the worst, like literally the worst thing that can happen to a country is to have a high percentage of poverty, in my opinion. And I'm coming from a country that has wars all the time. And I'm telling you that poverty is way, way worse than that. The fact that Jamaica government is definitely not trying to find solutions to solve poverty, and they're more interested in making billboards that's for gunman to say stop the crime, because really a gunman really going to look at a billboard and stop the crime, whatever. They're not focused. They're not focused on the real problems of Jamaica. They're trying to make us think that the problem is us and we are not doing enough, or we are not vaccinated, even though I don't want to go into that thing, you know, but it's all on us. It's all on us. It's all on the people. Like, the government is not taking in no point of view, no accountability and no responsibility. I mean, just the fact that I'm just, you know, giving you some situation for whoever doesn't live in Jamaica, but the fact that up to today, Mr. Prime Minister didn't say nothing about the young girl that her locks were cut off by a police officer. It's giving me chill, like to that level, because you cannot ignore what's happening in your country, and that's exactly what he's doing. And I'm sorry, and I don't care if he's going to, I don't know what, if they're going to remove this video because I'm talking too much politics or whatever, but it is politics. And there are certain things that people can change. There are certain things that people cannot change. And you know what? During this time of COVID, I got to talk, we all got to have lots of small talks with people, thinking about, how can we make a change? How can I hustle a little bit more, try to make some money, whatever. Do you know that every country in the world gave money to their own people because this is a fucking rough time? Sorry about my language. It's a rough time. It's a rough time. How can they be sitting there and they know they have their food and they know they're good, they're not disturbed in no way? I don't know how much millions or billions Andrew Holness worth, but he's worth a few. And his people are like suffering, literally suffering, and not able to help themselves. And the only way that you would help yourself in Jamaica, unfortunately, if you cannot do it in a legal way, it's illegal. So obviously the crime rate is going to go high, obviously, because people are not going to sit down in their home and starve their picnic, right? They're not going to do that. So they're going to take responsibility for their own life and find a solution, legal or illegal, because this is the reality. And, it's just, all of these things are like, unfortunately, all of these things are a regular thing in Jamaica. And I just want to emphasize this because I just want to show you how much they don't care. How much they don't care, to which level they really want to ignore what's happening in this country and just sit back and sleep, the Horace whatever, sleep in the parliament. Like they don't business about people. They don't, like, yeah, I don't want to cost too much, but they don't business, Again, charity makes an attempt to fix problem on the surface, kind of like putting a band-aid when you have, but unlike charity, social justice is much more, social justice is much more difficult to achieve, and it goes against most well-established social conventional and structural components, meaning like, well, maybe I read it a bit wrong, but in the end of the day, I know that what I'm saying, like dreaming about Jamaica that have social justice, equality, and all of those things is a big dream. It's not far from, like, it can happen, to my opinion. It's just a choice, a matter of choice. And when your government is so unfocused about what they're doing and their leadership is like not existing, because there is no leadership, Again, I was talking a lot about with friends and other co-workers and people, that I meet. Okay, so they were able to control the numbers. That's the minimum. That is the minimum. The minimum is that you control the numbers, and you would have a COVID policy, and you will put all of these things in place, and you will make sure you have vaccination. Like, you want everybody to vaccinate, but until they actually got the vaccines and everything. That's the minimum that the government should do. It's not anything that we should say, oh yeah, they coped the COVID really good. No, they didn't. They did the bare minimum. Coping the COVID good is making sure that you're giving a grant to the people that work in craft markets, because right now they have been basically hustling. I don't even know what those people do, because most of them are probably over 50. So what can they do? It's not like they can go and apply to work in, I don't know, at Fontana. Anyway, they're not trying to find solution. They're not trying to help anyone. They are not trying to give people something to hold on to. Something like any other country in the world did it. Any other country in the world, from the worst to the best, any other country. And I don't understand. My head cannot wrap around the fact that it's so easy for them to drive in the street in Jamaica. Because for me, okay, a person that's coming from a foreign country, my first visit in Jamaica, the worst thing that I had to see, even though we do have people who hustle on the street in Israel, but not as many as here. Not as many as here. Not young youths that's supposed to be in school and that needs to beg for money or turn homosexual because that's the reality. They don't have no other way to make money. It's insane, the fact that they're ignoring what they're seeing. I don't know what type of cars they drive, but they must have like a, how you call it, black screen, whatever, because there is no way that a human being will drive around Jamaica and won't see it, because every tourist that I've met so far, the first thing that they're telling me, Jamaican people are so nice, but the government and the police, what are they doing? They're not doing nothing. And I'm telling you guys, I'm not making this out. And it's not like every tourist that I meet is a peace activist, okay? It's so obvious that everybody can see it. It's so obvious, unless you're stuck in a resort, but even there you can see it because, sorry, but even the people who work in resort get minimum wage, okay? And that's why they have to basically sell their soul for tips. This is like the honest truth. That's the honest truth. Jamaica is not in a good condition. And when are we going to wake up and do something? When are we going to say, step up a bit and take whoever can do it, okay? Because I know that there are people that cannot do it. And I know that there are people that are in this reality where there is so much struggle around them that they just cannot do it. But in the end of the day, I believe that any person can help themselves, even in the worst of the worst. Just giving you a bit of myself. My grandpa from my father's side, he was a partisan in World War II, meaning he fought against the Nazis. But before that, obviously, he was either in concentration camps, was starved almost to death, all of those things, and all of his family was killed. But he still chose to go to the underground and fight against them. And that's the only way that make him alive. And you know, me and my family, otherwise I won't be here, you know. But all I'm trying to say is, like, in any situation in life, the hardest it can be, you always have the option to opposite. You always have the option to do something. And right now, Jamaica is like to levels that I could never imagine. Like, I must tell you, from my perspective, this is the worst I've ever seen Jamaica. And I've been coming here from 2015. It's becoming worse and worse every year, of course. Everything is increasing except for minimum wage. But now, how is Mr. Prime Minister is going to sleep? If I was a Prime Minister, I wouldn't go to sleep for the past 2 years just thinking about the people that I have to take care of. How does he have the conscience to go up every second he wants to go up on conference and want to say things on conference and calling everybody to come and watch him and put his face on every lockdown hours and all of these things. But when it comes to saying things about social issues that happening in Jamaica, he doesn't even say a word. Like, police treat people like dogs. I don't even know if everybody in Jamaica know it, or if it's fine that ghetto youths are treated like dogs by police, because there is no other way to say it. And it's fine that police is going to sing with their gun and do videos for social media and TikTok. It's fine. Why not? Because they shouldn't have no morals, no standard. They can use the gun. You know that in Israel, I was in the military. You're not allowed to even do these things. If you're caught with, like, taking pictures with your gun, you're going to jail. You're going to jail. And that's a military. Like, you have to do it. It's not a choice, like police, where you work for the police. Where is the standard? Where is the line? Where is the border? Where do we say enough? Anyway, I knew that I'm going to talk about a lot of other topics, and I just have to go back to the focus of what I was saying. Principles of justice do express the right and obligations of every person in the society. Now, it's very important to say that justice does not mean that everybody in Jamaica suddenly will get their best life, a house, No. In life, just like anywhere, you have to work for what you have. So if you get things, you have your rights and your obligations. You know what you have to do as a citizen. You have to pay taxes. You have to do all of those things. You have to be a good citizen and all of these things, but you also get something in return. In Jamaica, you do all of those things and you don't get nothing in return. Like, you don't get nothing in return. If you go right now to the tax office, you might as well put a tent over there, because the amount of time it's taking them to process one person, it's like, the whole day, and nobody cares, because why would people care about people time? I'm just giving you examples of, like, simple ways to show you how much, to which level it goes to, that how much uncareness and how much injustice there is here in Jamaica. Because if people would care, if the government of Jamaica would care, they would build some efficient way to make people work a bit faster, or try to make things online. And I know tax office started being online, but if you can understand their online system, good for you. You're probably an engineer or something, because it's not easy. And I'm sure that there are a lot of people in Jamaica that are struggling with this. Things that really don't make sense, like regulations, JPS increase. What do you mean JPS increase? What do you mean? Like, how? How do you even make that happen? Where is your conscience? All of these things that really doesn't add up. If you're saying you're a democratic country and you're trying to do good for your people, or you know what? I have too many things to say, my God. But I don't know if any one of you thought about it, but we didn't really have that much cases before election. We didn't. And it started because they wanted to put their agenda. They wanted to take charge. So why you didn't take charge? Why you didn't take charge? Why you make everybody get bungled up in election time, and then since then the only thing you care about is coming up and say, Jamaica, we have this in these cases. We have this in these cases. Okay, cases. But what about the other things that needs to be solved in Jamaica? You know, what are the other things that are getting worse and worse? Like poverty, like people losing their job, like no job opportunities here. What about all of these things? Supermarket prices gone up. Chinaman can put their prices anywhere they want to, because nobody is telling them to. I'm going to the same supermarket for the past 2 years right now, and every time I come, every product increases between 50 to 100 Jamaican. Why? How is it possible? Why there is no way to monitor? And there is a way to monitor businesses like that everybody is using them on a regular basis. I'm not talking about, constructions or things that are, really rare, or people don't really buy that often, even though people do. I'm talking about food. Prices in the market. Prices in the market are insane. I'm sorry. And no, it's not because I'm white or whatever. I'm telling you, the prices have gone up every week. Anyway. So as I said, charity really deals with the symptoms of injustice in a country. So once they're going to be justice in Jamaica, we won't need that many charity organizations. And I do appreciate all of those amazing people that take their time and their effort and their energy and really dedicate their life to that mission to help people in need. And it is very, very important. But once we're going to have justice in Jamaica, we won't need all of these things. We won't need people that is helping homeless people in downtown, because the government would have enough sense to build a homeless center and to give them beds and to treat them as human beings and not let them rotten in the street. That happened almost 2 years ago. I think in the beginning of the pandemic, there was videos of homeless people rotting in the street, dying. I just want to give you it's very common. It's a very common. The government clearly doesn't care about the citizens at all. I know, and I'm just wondering what we can do. I'm willing to fight. I'm not the only one, I'm sure. What we can do? What can we do? Like, I want to try to see if there is something that can be done. We cannot just be sitting here and saying that, even though that's what I'm doing right now, but we cannot just be saying all of these things. We have to blast it. And by the way, I am happy to see that a lot of influencers that are not socially or politically related are coming out right now with videos that are either about JPS increase or anything going on with during this pandemic with the government. And I hope that their influence will actually help to make a change. I know that protesting might not be the perfect way in Jamaica, but there must be a way. There must be a way. Just like how slavery abolished because slaves, African descent were opposing their masters and were willing to do that sacrifice. There must be a way to do it. And I'm not comparing this. I'm just saying there must be a way, because if harder went past already, there must be a way. Anyway, there is a small story or saying, whatever. It says, give the poor fish and he will be full today. Give the poor a hook and teach him to fish and he will be full for the days of his life. justice is giving people the tools to better off their life. Free education, creating programs for youths in garrisons. Millions of ideas. I'm sure I'm not the only one who can come up with ideas. Justice creates better life for everyone, and it gives the tools for the individual to change their life. I don't need nobody to come and give me 10 grand and 10 grand and 10 grand, even though the government should do that during the pandemic. I need the government to say, okay, the craftsman people from the tourism sector lost their job and we don't have any prospective idea of when are we going to get back ships or tourists. Let's do seminars and courses and try to move to a different industry, try to take care or give them any other tools or direction or guidance to go to have those tools to better their life, to do something with their future. What they're going to sit for the next 30 years depends on the fact that if tourism is going to be back to what it is. And I don't even want to talk about what's going on right now with the ships emoji, because it's a big embarrassment, Jamaica, big embarrassment. Where is thinking about Jamaica, thinking about what's going to happen in the next 10 years? Where is the plan? Where is it? I don't see it. I only see numbers are increasing or decreasing in the COVID relation, and above, except from that, nothing is being said about what's going to happen to people that have lost their job. How are you going to move them to a different way? It's not the individual responsibility. It's a world crisis. It's a pandemic. There is nothing that a woman with 4 children, like a mother with 4 children right now, that was, I don't know what, redundant from a hotel as a housekeeper. There is nothing that she can do except from trying to look for a job, which probably is going to take her forever because there are so many limited positions right now opening. Provide education, provide courses, provide all of this for free. You need to look out for the people. You need to go and find those people that needs the direction and the tools to help them to make their life better. It's the individual responsibility to their life, but also there is so much that can be done from the government that is just not being done. So just saying again. So yeah. So the principal purpose is to correct regarding to justice. Yeah, the principles of justice is to correct failures and unequal consequences created by the economical market that is directed by the government, of course, or in case of Jamaica, by colonialism and slavery, and try to reduce as much as possible inequality, because we all know that what created the inequality in Jamaica initially was colonialism. The fact that most black people in Jamaica, some of them maybe got some land or whatever, most of them, their starting point was so low compared to white people or people coming from, outside and trying to invest in Jamaica or whatever. There is so much inequality because of colonialism. So it's already a bad starting point, and if that is your starting point, then you have to be a much more up to it and focused and willing to try to do anything just to make a change. I mean, come on, it cannot be that we are sitting here and looking at, we're still experiencing the consequences of slavery. We're still, what has changed? Honestly, I don't know. One thing regarding to charity, and I do have to say that, is that charity does not guarantee any long-term solution. Charity, depending on if a person is kind enough and has the time or morals to do good deeds and try to help others. Not every time you're going to have Miss Donna. Not every time you're going to have other organizations that are willing to do it. And it sucks to say it, but we don't need to depend on individuals to try to help people in Jamaica and help the whole society. as much as I believe in these people, it's not their responsibility. They didn't choose to be a prime minister. They didn't went to the government. The people who did choose to be in the government are not doing their job, and other people have to cover up for them and try to give some temporary solutions for holidays. So they give you a basket of food, and in the weekend, in the lockdown, they give you a basket of food. But this is not helping for the long term. It's even creating more people that are depending on those people, because they already know that they can do nothing better by themselves, because they don't have the either education, the tools, or the abilities, or the resource to do anything better with themselves. So where are you, government? Where are you? Where is your power? Like, your power is huge to try to help people. Like, you should be doing so much more than just talking about the numbers in COVID. We really don't care about, I'm sorry, but I don't care about that. I care more about the fact that people who are still alive in Jamaica are suffering, and they're going to suffer more and more and more because you're not doing nothing to better off their life. And by the way, I'm saying all of these things because I love this country, and I just believe that people, any person everywhere around the world, deserve to live in dignity, and deserve to have free education until a certain age, deserve to have good medical service. I don't know if you guys know how much it costs you to do a teeth cleaning. It costs almost 20 grand. Yeah? Almost 20 grand. If some places take sometimes even more. If you don't have medical insurance, which a lot of people don't have, because if you are not employed by a company that offers group policies for medical insurance, you're going to pay a fortune for medical insurance. So people just rather to just wait until they get something or whatever and then save for it and pay for it. But if they can, or just not do whatever, like every regular person supposed to be, it's just simple things that I'm saying. Yeah, every regular person supposed to be treating their teeth and stuff like that every 4 months. 4 months, sorry, at least, minimum. Nobody in Jamaica can. How can you do it? How can you do it? You can't do it. You cannot do it. You cannot live. And all of these things adds up to something big. All of these things adds up to the fact that if you and your mental health and everything around you is so hard, you're not going to have no good intention in life. Not when people come in and complaining about customer service. Of course, customer service is going to be crap. When you're paying people 7,000 Jamaican per week, of course it's going to be crap. Of course. Of course, when I go to the gas station, after I put gas, the lady who put me gas have to beg for money to buy her food. Of course. Do you think it's nice? Do you think people feel good with begging? Do you think that people live good with just begging to people all around across the board? Like, no. But that's just the reality we were too much adjusted to in Jamaica, because we're just accepting the fact that the government is not doing what they're supposed to do. They're not doing what they're supposed to do. Their obligation is to serve the people. Only the people, nothing about their personal interests. And from the moment of this pandemic, all what the Prime Minister cares is about how he is seen in the media and what people are talking about him. I'm sorry, Mr. Prime Minister, but when Kim Kardashian chooses to be a celebrity, she don't care if people are going to say, you're a whore, you're this, you're that. She chooses to be a celebrity. You choose to be a Prime Minister. This is your responsibility. If people are going to have bad criticism and good criticism, it's your problem. You have to face it. You choose to be a prime minister. That's it, period. Nobody's here to save you, and it's not about who is saying what on you. It's not, because none of us can threaten your life. You're the only one that can threaten our life, that's for sure. The only one that can threaten the prime minister life is who? Nobody. Nobody. He's so well protected. I don't know if you ever passed by his home in Kingston. He's so well protected. Nobody can do nothing to the prime minister. So why are you so afraid people going on social media and talking bad things about you? The man from the street that stand in a bar, he cannot do nothing to you. Nothing. You're always going to have the people that are going to hype you, and you're always going to the people that's going to hate you. That's life. As a prime minister and as a simple person. That is life. So just even the fact that the police is, I don't know if it was back then that the police took it upon their hands, which most likely they did, or the prime minister that was telling them to like find that person and do something, or I don't know, lock him up or whatever, that's a big shame for a government. I'm not saying it as a pride, but in Israel, do you want to see what's going on in Israel in protest in election time? They have pictures of the prime minister and they're burning them. They're saying something? No, this is what they choose. Politics is a fucked up business, fucked up industry, but you choose to do it. So you have to take the bad and the good. That's it. And I'm facing everything like regarding to politics again, because politics is what government and politics is what can change or ruin Jamaica. And currently it's ruined Jamaica. So if they're not going to make a change, trust me, nobody is going to make a change in Jamaica. We cannot depend on people to be the good and the best of what they can in life. If in the end of the day, they still have to suffer. They still have to suffer. Because in Jamaica, there is no way you cannot suffer right now. If you don't make, I don't know what, it's hard for me to even like wrap it around numbers. I doubt the majority of the people don't even, I think, reach to maybe 1,500 US a month as a salary, which is nothing. Like, look at America and the salaries that you can make over there, you know? And it's not like the money does not exist. And it's not like the people are not qualified enough to get the money that they deserve. It's just when you look at people in an injustice way and you don't appreciate your people and you don't do things and make the decisions and make the rules that would benefit your people and give them tools to improve their own future, then it's not going to change. It's not going to change. And all of these organizations like NHT and all of these places that are willing to give you loans in such a high credit and all of these things, okay, it's a way to help people, but also the amount of credit that they're taking on these loans is insane. So even if you end up getting a house, you're paying for it until you die. Until you die. Unless you have some wealth generation and you're coming from a good home and you're able to say, or you made a whole heap of money outside of Jamaica, because every person that I know, if you don't come to Jamaica with money or you don't have money from your family, you cannot become rich here. You cannot. Unless you thief, oh, maybe if you're the prime minister or the government and you thief money from people, you know? But I just don't know. Maybe tell me the secret, but I don't know how you can do that. Because every person, even event promoters, they have to do events right now outside of Jamaica. They have to. They're not going to even take the risk, even if Mr. Roundahole is giving them all of the so-called restrictions, taking down the restrictions. There is no way that people in Jamaica, first of all, nobody has really money to party right now. Like, people will find the money, but come on, like, you know, no. Secondly, why would they take the risk? First of all, it's risking, like, you know, their name, because everybody is just coming to bash them instead of bashing the government. And I don't know. Anyway, whatever. I'm touching a lot of topics. By the way, if anyone wants to join and say anything, I see that I only have 4 people watching right now. Thank you for the 4 people watching. Pick up yourself. But if you want to join and say anything and talk, I'm willing to talk, because I talked a lot already. Not that I know how to add people, but let's see if you're gonna come up. Anyway, there is a really nice thing that I saw, and it says, charity usually flourish when justice worsen or deteriorates, meaning, and philanthropy is strength when social solidarity disappears. So what they're trying to do here is not just the fact that there is injustice and inequality in Jamaica, it's the fact that they are trying to tear us apart. They're trying to create separation between everybody. They're trying to create JLP and PNP like it matters. None of them are doing nothing for nobody, whatever, orange or green, none of them are doing nothing. They're trying to create all of the separation just for us to believe that the problem is not them. Just for, like, putting some, I don't know what, cover up. So we would feel like we are the problem. Oh, we are the problem. It's because it's not the government. It's not them that have the power, you know. It's we are the problem, you know. We make Jamaica worse. It's not the government, you know. And the reason why, by the way, I come up with this live is because when I was pretty active in that live that Jamaica Uncut did in last week, and he had 876 volunteers, and I was writing there, sorry, about the fact that it's the government policy. Everything that's happening right now in Jamaica is a result of the government policy, or just no leadership in the government. And Jamaican Cat, I'm sorry, I don't know his first name. He was saying that, he was responding to me and saying that it's because he hear a lot of people saying that, and it's easy to like blame the government, but in the end of the day, it's on the people. No, I have to disagree, because we as individuals in Jamaica have such a limited ability to change things for the long terms of Jamaica. And I'm sorry, people that are living in crop are not able to open their eyes and see better. So if you are giving us really bad conditions to live in and we have to struggle every month, then we're not going to be able to become better. Just like if a child is growing up in a family where his parents beat up each other and fight every day, there is no way the child is going to be without no mental issues. Like, no way. I'm stuck. I'm wondering if I went too much in time. Maybe I talked too much.